Welcome back, everyone, to another part of Turnabout Serenade. Let's begin this. While wasting any time, find that spot and I'll find the gunshots. We are here to prove that Klavier heard something that stopped her from singing. We want to present number one. Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track with Klavier's vocals. Heard a gunshot. I did hear something faintly there, yes. Why? It sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake.
I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set, which means Klavir's testimony was true.
Grr. Order, so she was telling the truth about what she heard. It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche. Well, what did he say? Get to that chopper! I mean, it's over. Press the switch now. Just after that, there was a gunshot, and then the guitar caught on fire.
Detective Croissant, you were on the stage during the second set. You could have done it!
What? Why did we only hear one gunshot in the recording? Weren't there two bullets fired with his weapon? Klavier was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot, but then as she passed over the dressing room, bang! The gun fired again and Miss Latouche's life was taken. Well, Detective Croissant?
Once again I am reminded of something.
Oh, great.
A performance that day.
Your performance?
Seeing the mixing board jogged my memory. You were there too, her forehead.
Yep, his issue with the pretty much Daryan Croissant being late to the party, with his playing of his guitar, he came in kind of late. So there's a reason that we're getting at here why he was off. Daryan didn't want to make this a huge deal, so we didn't really get too much of a huge deal with this, which is another thing which
I thought was strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I know how you play. You're better than that.
Yeah, well, You what? And Prosecutor Gavin was... what are you getting at?
I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Latouche's 45 caliber hand cannon. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. The kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur.
Wait. You mean his playing was affected because he heard himself shoot that revolver? Ha! You're forgetting something. Yes, Detective Croissant? I am a trained police officer, you know. I had firearms training, plenty of it. I am no amateur.
The standard sidearm issued to police officers is a 38 caliber weapon. A much tamer beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Latouche, which suggests there was a struggle between killer and victim.
So, the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired? Is that what you mean?
The thought had occurred to me, yes.
Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Croissant! What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up ready for action has to say. Hey, you attorney! Me? Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? You got a little noise on a tape that could be anything, and you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a 45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin, I really do. You can line up your little weak pieces of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager. And that's the obvious truth. The witness has a point. The defense arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Croissant. Tell us your reasons why you couldn't have done it. Proof of innocence. Come on, why would I even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy, I got no motive, man. This was the Diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him? A simple reason indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is that the case that Miss Latouche had not been to our country before?
According to our records, yes, not even once.
I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination. Great, now I need to find a motive. Yep, he is really smart. But not smart enough. Because we want to present him a reason. We want to present him this Virginia replica, because this is over here for some odd reason. He was after it because he was trying to replace it with something. I hope I pressed the right thing. Yes, I did. Your Honor, take a look at this. What's that? Looks like candy. It's not. Don't look it, please. Detective Chris Sand, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. What is it? What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings. A cocoon, never see one that color.
It is a variety only found in the Republic of Virginia. Nowhere else.
Alright, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with the motive for killing Mr. Latouche, does it? It does! Wait, I think it does. You don't sound so confident, man. A cocoon. Is this one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you can make, well, silk out of? Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative. A curative for what?
Apparently, it is most efficacious at treating a disease thought incurable. It is the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Virginia.
Whatever for? If such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world? Yeah, that's what I've been wondering.
We looked into the matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet, if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact.
What? A cure that can cure everything but can also be turned into a poison. That's actually...
There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out onto the black market.
That's actually very freaking intriguing.
It caused quite the commotion in the global community, though the media was kept largely unaware.
Intriguing. You can say that again.
All this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export, one rigidly enforced by Interpol, among others.
Interpol? Right. The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Chris Sand, you insist on referring to him as a manager. But that is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent. So I was trying to smuggle this gumball in the country? That's what you're trying to say? I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder. Oh, so I'm going to sell it on the black market, make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. Totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say. Why? Perhaps it's time for another testimony about this smuggling of cocoon business. Cocoon smuggling, which I believe this to be the very last testimony. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market. Too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm International Affairs. I know the deal. I believe this will be the last testimony. Indeed. Yeah, Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Miss Latouche undercover. You kids think of the craziest things, but no way am I going to risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Not the most notable of statements, but duly noted.
According to reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky.
Very well. You may begin the cross-examination. This is the only motive I got. He was up to something, and I'm going to find out what. The heck was that? Now, what we want to do is present to his second testimony, which is Interpol's all hot and bothered about him. Why would they be all hot and bothered about him if Virginia doesn't know about it yet? And we know they don't know anything about this because I think it's the Virginia newspaper we gotta present. Or actually, it's about the newspaper article. I think it's the newspaper article we gotta present. I don't want to be wait a minute. Okay, no, it's not. It's not statement number 2. It's statement number 3. Okay, just trying to make sure. I guess we could present, and if we get something wrong here, I guess we'll be screwed. Why not choose a less dangerous buyer then? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the black market is dangerous. The second they find out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell to a black market buyer? How about someone like this? That article, that's about the Chief Justice's. A deadly poison can be started from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease. A cure for incuratus, which just has to be curatus. I've heard of that somewhere. You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning. Aha! Why, that's the disease that the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice. You are saying that Chief Justice would never deal in contraband, not even to save his own son's life. But even if the deal went through, why would it be an international scandal? Why would it be an international scandal? That's Detective Chris Ann's insurance. If word got out that one with his neck on the line this time would be the Chief Justice. Detective Chris Ann, is this true? First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler. How many crimes are you going to try to pin on me anyway? Distasteful as it is to think about it, that Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with Chief Justice? Where's your proof? Well, oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Virginia customers barely sleep. They're so worried about these cocoons getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination. Virginia customers are very thorough. Everything and everyone gets checked. Cocoon possession will get you arrested. I think it's with this statement we want to present Prosecutor Gavin's Burke guitar. I think. Yeah, we would have presented here. So we would have presented his guitar. Because this is the only way he could have gotten out of the country. Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country. No checks. What is this? What is it? You become a prosecutor. A prosecutor.
I don't believe it.
Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. You are holding a Virginia cocoon to your guitar. What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? He told us that he's able to put it through a shipment where he can get it home really quickly. Because it was a gift, and he could get it through while checking it. And I bet somebody knew he could do that. Daryan Chris and being a cop and all, and I'm sorry for hitting my mic. And sorry for all the sniffing. Kind of cold in my house right now, because it's spring over here. Yeah, like I said, he rely a lot on flashbacks. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched?
Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Virginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was...
With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, That guitar had some work done on recently, right? Work?
Good memory, her forehead.
Yep, he had somebody check into his guitar to see what's going on with that sound hole. Sound hole, that sounds so dirty. Why does it sound dirty, you ask? Don't ask me. Just think about it. Sound hole. An igniter. Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if the igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside the guitar? You mean...
He means this, of course.
Aha! There was a way to get a cocoon out of the country. They could use Pinky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band. New York! What when people say New York in this game? Seriously, what are they? Fuzzies? Order, order, order! So the igniter was a failsafe.
Was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems.
It was a safety precaution. A precaution?
Ah, her forehead. At last it all comes together.
Every strange thing that happened that day? Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sounds of Lamirar's ballad, if you will?
First, my keys were stolen. A harmless misdemeanor. Which forced me to break the lock of my guitar case.
The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar. I see. But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler. What's that? Mr. Latouche. Ah!
Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself.
If the cocoon was confiscated, then the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was get rid of the whole lot. It's over! Press the switch, now! The guitar burst into flames and the cocoon was lost. And then, he was shot. Miss Latouche died.
With Lamirar there to witness it.
There's your case. Not really. Brilliant, man. Detective Chrisann. I gotta know, you make all that up on the fly?
For a made-up story. It makes a great deal of sense, Daryan.
Fair, the Republic of Virginia. Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there.
True, you haven't.
How? Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help, a Virginian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamirar heard proves it. It's over. Press the switch. Now! You made this transmission from the backstage.
While your co-conspirator was on stage.
But who was it? This is it, the coup de grace. If for once I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then, but be warned. With a great accusation comes great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you will be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice? The only person who could have been Machi. There's only one person who could meet all the requirements of the accomplice. And that person is the defendant, Machi Tobii. But Mr. Justice, he's your client. A defense attorney accusing his client, that's a new one. I assure you, no one is more unhappy than I am about this. But I am here to defend him in the murder of Miss Latouche, and I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime. Indeed, the defendant is Borginian. He does meet the basic requirements of the accomplice. But what if it was in fact Lamirar? It couldn't have been. Well, you seem sure yourself. The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor. Electronic signals. Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless. Yes, that's true. Now think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamure was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Look at this stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent. Well, looking at this, it seems the Lamure could still could have had done the deed. No. When the shooter made the transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar Serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Basically, Gavin and Lamure standing where they were on the tower, which happens to be 15 feet tall. 20 feet tall. In other words, they're out of range. The remote couldn't have worked from Lamure's position in the air vents. Ah! Well, Detective Chrysand, what do you say to that? Your Honor? Yes, Detective? Can we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time. Well, I don't see why not. What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this. Ha ha! Too bad, so sad, punk. Punk? First you were Sleeves, then Kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo. You know, I just want to punch you. What exactly we're supposed to see in this video?
The problem isn't what we see, correct, Daryan?
Right. It's what you hear. We are musicians after all. Care to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let's get your yarn straight first. You're saying in order to the lead pianist to set off that igniter. That's right? Yes. Well, in order to do that, you have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem, man. You still don't get it? Ah. Yeah, how's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You got Mrs. Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the diva, Lamure. But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press a switch. Man, he's